Hello friends, today in this live stream we will be discussing about the console object of JavaScript. So basically console object is very much used inside your application. So whenever you try to debug your application, you use the console object. You print out messages in the console.log. You have used this method a lot. So basically we will be looking at this object and we will be exploring all these methods, which is console log, console clear, console warning, log, group collapse, table, time. All these methods we will be looking one by one. So basically, guys, this is our index.html class here. Let me change the title. So we will. This will be a short little course on the console log console object in JavaScript. So basically, what I will do is that I will simply delete all this stuff here and open with live server. So you will see that, guys, this is basically, you can see that it's a basically our HTML document here. So nothing is present here. So I just need to open the console here to show you guys. So we are including the script.js file, guys. You can see that, guys. So inside script.js, we will write the JavaScript code. So just inspect element here. Basically, you will now see the console here. You can just have some space here. So you can see nothing is present in the console. So the very first method that you use inside your console log class, guys, which is console log, you have used this method a lot. Let me print out a message in the console, hello world. You will see hello world is printed out. You can see that hello world message. So basically it takes a single argument here. Basically it takes a message, whatever message you can perform here. You can see that. So it takes this message and it print outs in the console. So there is also a second method, guys, which lets you do the same thing, which is called as console info. So there is also a info method also, guys, which does the same thing, which prints out on the console. So I can even say hello world. This is in info method. So what it will do, again, it will print out this passage here. You will see that hello world. This is info method. So now we are using the info method, guys. So I think I don't see any difference between console log and console info, but console log is directly used for debugging the program, but info is directly writing it on the console. So that's the difference. But both the methods does the same thing. And then, guys, we have basically, if you want to clear out the data which is written in the console, let me take a button here and we will simply assign the job to clear out the console. So we will simply say on click, we will simply call this method clear. So now we simply need to make this method function click. So inside this, guys, we will simply call this method, which is console log clear. You can see console clear. So this will actually clear out all the console. So basically, if I now press this button, you will see nothing is present inside the console. So that's why it hasn't clear out it. Let's suppose I have my console log messages. So this is message 1 and this is message 2. I have a series of messages here printed out. So now you can see we have 4 messages here, message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4. So if I now click this button, guys, it will call this method, which is console clear. Now you can see basically if I am invoking this, it should clear out the console. I think some error has taken place. Function, oh sorry, we need to call the clear method, so we have written a wrong function name here. So clear should be the there, and now you can see 4 messages are there. If I click clear console, uh, function clear, why it has to me attach once again clear console, clear console. You can see 4 messages are there. Now you can see console was cleared. You can see that. So as I click this button, guys, so your console is cleared. So once again, if you refresh it, you will see that a lot of messages are there, and also these warnings are also there. So if you click this button, it will call this method of this console object. It has this method clear, which will clear out the console. You will see console was cleared. You can see that. So this is a third method which is there. If you want to clear out all the contents which are there inside your console, you can call this method console dot clear. It's a very good utility method out there. And the next method, guys, basically if you want to show something in the form of a table, not in the form of a message in the console. You can also show tables as well. So if you want to show a table in console, what you can do is that basically you can construct an object here. Let's suppose I construct an object of user. So this will be an array of objects. So first we will have a name property, which is John, and the age will be 25. Put a comma, and the next object will be Steve, and again the age 31. So now you have two records out there. Is an array of objects. So now if you want to print out here, you will simply pass, you can see that we can pass the name and the age, or you can simply say here user, and sorry, this needs to be console dot table. So there is a table method, guys, inside this console object, and here you just need to pass the tabular data inside. You will pass this as user. So what it will do, guys, it will see that basically it will now have this table like structure. You will see that this is one record out there. This is basically an object. It contains two records out there, age, name, property, and you can see index 0 1. So basically how you need to do this, guys, basically uh, you will simply write here user 0 comma user 1. I think that, and now you can see that basically we are passing this. Basically this is an array here, so we can access the index of first element by 0 property and then by 1. So indexing starts from 0. So you can see that we are printing out these records in the table. You can also sort this using, if you click this sort button, you can sort it by ascending order, descending order as well. You can see that. So you can even display the table like structure inside the console, guys. So basically it contains this method, and you can see that it is displaying this nice little table in the console. You can see that. So if you have just want to debug your application, if you don't want to display it in the browser, if you just want to debug this, this is a very handy method which is available inside this console object, which is table, which lets you display the records in the form of a table. You can see that. So this is the index here 0 1. This is name here, this is age here, like this. So the next method, guys, we are talking about is the assert method. Assert method is basically, guys, it checks for a condition. Assert method, it checks for a condition in the console. If the condition evaluates to true, then only then it will not display a message. So basically we have a condition here, sorry, console dot assert, and basically first condition is a boolean parameter. It can be either true or false. We can have a condition. Let me pass true here, and then followed by a message. So we will say hello world. So what will happen, guys, as it is evaluated to true, the message will not be printed out. This is a condition. So basically if the condition evaluates to true here, if the first argument is true, then this message will not be displayed. If it is false, then this message will be displayed as an error. You can see that assertion failed, hello world. You can see that this message will be printed out. It typically depends upon if any kind of error take place inside your program. You can pass a condition in the first argument. If the condition evaluates to false, then only this message will be displaying it as a error message. You can see that on line number 11. On line number 12 here, you will see that this condition evaluates to false here. That's why this error message was printed out. So this is a very good method, guys, whenever you are debugging your applications, whenever you wanting to find out the error inside your source code, you can use this method at any condition. Here you can pass any condition here. Let's suppose I pass a condition here, 15 greater than 20. So as you can see that it is not a correct condition, it will evaluate to false. So again, if you check the console, you will see a session failed, hello world. You can also customize this message, 15 or some error taken place, like this. You can see that. And here also you can put a condition of database connection. If you're making a database connection inside your application, you can put that code, and if it doesn't connect, you will get an error. Now if I make this condition true, 15 is less than 20. So this time this is true condition. This message will not be printed out. You can see on the right hand side, the message is not printed out because the condition was true. So this error was not taken place. So this is a very handy method, guys, which is assert, which typically prints out the error messages whenever the condition evaluates to false. So you can use this method for debugging purposes. So next method, guys, we have is the basically, if you want to print out these yellow warnings inside your application, you can see on the right hand side these warnings are there alongside with the icon. If you want to print out your custom warnings, how you can print out using the warn method here, which is there inside the console object, warn. So here we can simply say this is the custom warning, like this. So if you just want to print out custom warnings inside your application, you will see this is the custom warning on line number 12. You can see that custom warning. So typically it is not required inside applications, but if any sort of condition take place, if you want to print out warning inside dynamically, you can use this method, which is available inside this console object. Warn stands for, and you can print out warnings as well. So this is a very nice little method to print out warnings. So next method, guys, we will be talking about, basically this is the error method. So if you want to print out error messages, you can even print out error messages like console error. So you can simply print out this is error message. So typically whenever some kind of error take place, you can print out error messages in the console, like using, it will give a red color to it. You will see that this is a error message. So typically whenever error take place, this red color message prints out in the console. So you can even create your custom errors, and let's suppose you have form validation going on inside your application, you can print out in the console as well the messages for debugging purposes. This is a very handy method. Next, guys, we have the group message. Basically, group message allows you to group your messages in the console. If you are printing out multiple messages, let's suppose I have a series of messages, hello world, and my name is, so these two messages are already there, so you can see that. So now you can even group these messages. So basically now I can call this method group. After this group message, guys, all the messages will be printed out, will be there inside a group. This will be the group. This message is in group. This message is also in group. So now you can see that, guys, basically now it has created this group here. Basically this is a group here, it is collapsible, you will see that. So this is far more easier to identify your custom group messages. You can sometimes in applications, in debugging purposes, multiple messages will be there, so it is very hard to identify which messages are there for which application. So you can group your messages by using this console dot group method. Basically it is very much easier to identify which messages are there. You can see that. And also there is the end method as well. You can also end your group also. So there is also a end method if you want to end this group. So we can call console group end. So this will end this group, and again you can go back to your normal messages, hello world again, and again you can create another group, console group. This is another group here, and this is group second. I can call this as, again you can call console, sorry, group end. So this will end the group. So now if you check guys inside your basically console, so there will be two groups out there. This is first group and this is second group. So you can see that how easy it is. It is highlighting the groups here, and also indexing is also very good. Indentation is also very good. So it is clearly saying which groups are basically there. So if you have a lot of messages printed out in the console and if you for debugging purposes, this method is pretty good. You can group your messages in the console. So this is all about grouping your messages, guys. The next method is basically the time method. So you can also print out the time, current time in the console by using console time. So basically it will print out the, let's suppose, time end. You also need to print out console time end like this. You can see that default script on 12, you can see that it will print out the time taken to execute these two statements on console time and console time end. So in between these two statements, guys, in between these two lines here, you can execute any code here. Let's suppose I execute a for loop. You can just calculate how much time it takes to do this operation. So it is very much useful. Basically, you can see that. So you can see that this is a timer which is running, and obviously you can do this. I think it's a very long value, so let me close this. So you don't need to do like this, guys. Basically it will crash your browser. So that was not the, you can just calculate how much time is basically it takes to do that process. So the next method we will be executing, guys, basically is the trace method. Basically trace method, guys, it's very much useful for debugging purposes. Trace method actually trace down the whole path of the program, how it is executed. Let's suppose we have a button here, and we click this button. We can simply say register, and we have this on click here. We will call this register method like this. So now what will happen here, we will call this method, we will write this definition, and here basically we will make two more functions, function hello, and inside this we will call another function which is other function. So inside this other function we will make this function, and inside this we will call console trace. So wherever you want to trace your program, guys, wherever you are expecting some kind of error to be taking place, you can call this method console trace. And now what will happen here, let me just call this method of hello here. So basically you can see that if I click this button of register, it is calling this method of register here. You can see it is calling this hello method, and inside this hello method we are calling other function. So here we are console logging tracing this. So what will happen, if you see, if I click this register button, you will see on the right hand side it will exactly tell me the path of the program, how it is executed. So first of all I click this button, register button, on click happen on line number 8. You will see that it is exactly telling me the conditions. After that this register method was taken, it was calling this hello method, and after this hello method was executed, we executed this line. So again it is executing this function which is other function, and this function executed, and line number 15 it called this statement. So exactly line by line it is telling you how this program was executed. So this is a very good debugging function, guys. So wherever if you are expecting any sort of doubt, if you have doubt your program is having some kind of error, you can use this method console trace. So this will exactly trace down how the program was executed and how this line was doing that. So this is a great debugging method, guys. So definitely use this. So this is a console object, guys. I explained you each of the methods out there with examples. So this was the console object. Please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well. And if you have any sort of questions now inside the comment section, I will definitely try to answer all your questions. So you can ask any sort of questions if you have. If you don't have questions, I will switch off this live stream. So, okay guys, I will be seeing you in the next tutorial. Some questions, some comments are there. Craft Gamer is saying hi, not happy, namaste Sarji. So thank you guys. I will be seeing you in the next tutorial. So until then.